Hello world, hello everybody. So I'm sitting here doing chores and such in the kitchen. My dishes are soaking right now up in Serenity. And I sat and things come to mind to me, this and that, and I've always been too busy back in the day when I was this and that thinking them. Because for a long time now, um, I was thinking, to lift your life in a real easy way is to learn another language, correct? And I'm sitting there, man, I'd like to have a command of mine and two others and working knowledge of, say another or two from each landmass, say, right? And I go, man, I'm thinking, and I go, because I was a miscreant back in the day, and that's as far as we'll go. And in school, um, they had classes. They were kind of dwindling when I was coming up into it. They were going away because you couldn't learn nothing in school. By the time I seen high school, I was rough and tumble. But then I'm looking at it, going, "Oh my God, what is this?" And then I sent the kids to the story for another time. Anyway, not the subject of this video is what I should say. Um, in this school, I would really today what I would have if I was say had sway influence like the governor. This is like a message to the governor or those people that would be interested in this. In these schools, right, have programs, correct, for nothing else. All they do, if they're enterprising and they show courage and faith, I know what you need to see, okay, immerse them in another language. Maybe their choice, maybe off a list of this and that, something real local, something, really not local. Read, write, and speak fluently. You never see them again. If it was me back then, oh man, I wouldn't look back. What if I'd have learned in 1972, 68, I was 10, 72, 73, 74, I met Debbie, 76, tossed around 74, 1974, right? Because I got tossed to the winds. Brothers lived here, there, and there till I turned 18. If I would have been taught a language or two in the time I had on my hands, okay, at 16, I would have just sucked that up. And purity of environment, oh my goodness, can you imagine what you could do with another and maybe a third language that you had command of? And teach these young ones. They've got the time on their hands. Okay, that rate and merit, you'd never see them again. Teach Chinese, or something. Spanish, it's out here in the South, the West. I'm telling you, now that I look back, I said, if I'd have known two languages, I'd have never seen a day of poverty or heartache ever. I swear to you, on my rings, they're right there. I'll find them and I'll do that. I think, I'll tell you what, now this what brought it on to me today. For some reason, I'm thinking about folks in prison, correct? And I can't even remember what, blah, blah, blah. And I say, well, you know what? They have a lot of time in their hands. If they work towards learning, say they had, this is what came to me, languages, fluently, read, write, give them a master's or something lofty and help them raise themselves up. Speaking two languages, maybe a third, simply Well, oh man, the places and things. Just to simply jaw with some other folks. And what I was thinking, and I had a martial arts monastery dream that I had back in the day when I was young about something like that. You could have in these government facilities, you'd have a wing of this language that everyone goes to and learns that because that's all they speak there. And then after that, they had exposure for a length of time. They would really get good. And then to the next one, and another immersion, utterly and complete, of this language, read, write, speak, fluent, nothing else is spoken, and then they could take some of that time off their hands. They could become far more. Oh, 3 languages that you could a master's degree in 3 languages. And if you say young ones that have that type of time on their hands is what started this thought, right? You start that early. Look, do this, and dude, you ain't gonna mess with all that. And that's what I would say to the ones because I was, I would say, what an opportunity. They, folks spend tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars for this school, this very one. This isn't that. This is they bring out from the and then to have a purity of environment to learn 2 more languages. You would never see a dishonest day unless you chose it. And then if you were that smart, this and that, we'd never see you again. So what? Right? But you wouldn't be able to you wouldn't have to do nothing nefarious ever again. You could just go somewhere and say, hey, I need you to blah, blah, blah. Whoosh. Governor, what's his name? Lombardo. That's what I thought of. That's what I thought. Anyway, the big old thought, too. 7.5 minutes of it. That's just a thought sitting here. And I'm telling you, I'm going to pursue very diligently when I get squared away at least another language. Latin's going to be one, and then a second one, utilitarian, as to the environment. Just my thought. All right. Well, live by your wits, not by your worries, and race fast to die in pain. Peace. Love ya. Bye.